Only 9 of us, but let's not forget that Margaret Mead quote. Thanks to Art Richter for being here, Joe Barbarito, Irene Miller, Sue Holland, Pam Krimsky, Bill McKnight behind the camera, Ed and Joanne Halfman. I'm Joel Tyner. And 2 days ago, the reason why we're standing here is 2 days ago, there were articles in just about every newspaper in the country about, Medicare is broke, Social Security is broke, and Medicare and Social Security are not broke, all right? It's like what Michael Moore said about a year ago in Madison, Wisconsin. There's 400 people in this country who have more wealth than the other 150 million of us put together. All right. If you expand Medicare to cover everybody, like Maury Sinchi's been pushing for many years, I worked with Paul Miller and Connie Holland and Max Feinstone, in the early '90s with Maury Sinchi for single payer. If you expand Medicare to cover everybody, the late great Paul Miller and Connie Holland and Max Feinstone, you expand Medicare to cover everybody, you save $400 billion a year, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Now, here's some facts that we have to get the news out to the media about. Number one, the payroll tax cap is now set at $110,000. So if you extend the Bush tax cuts for people making over $250,000, that's the same revenue shortfall as for Social Security over the next 75 years. So if we just go back a little bit, rewind the clock to 39.6%, top income tax rate for the rich, there's no Social Security shortfall, and right now there's a $2.6 trillion surplus. And let's not forget, in the 50s, under Eisenhower, millionaires used to pay a 91% federal income tax rate, and now they pay about a third of that. Just real quick, another fact. Social Security now helps 55 million Americans, 38 million retirees, 6 million widows and orphans, and 11 million folks with disabilities. Okay, we cannot afford to have Social Security decimated or privatized like Chris Gibson wants to do. And I'm not just running to replace Chris Gibson, I'm running to send a strong message to the Republican and the Democratic power structures. Last summer, the president should not have put $4 trillion in cuts on the table to be bargained with the Republicans when it comes to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. That's what he did. I'm not saying the Republicans are any better. They're about 3 trillion times worse. But the reason why I'm running is to send a strong message to the Republican and the Democratic power structure on issues like this. Right now, the payroll tax cap, somebody who makes $500,000 a year pays the same Social Security payroll tax as somebody who makes $30,000 a year. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. It's solvent now for decades. And the problem with Medicare is right now Medicare is not bargaining with Big Pharma, with the pharmaceutical industry, and with the insurance industry. It's the profit that's in the mix. That's the problem. So anyway, I would love it if Pam, Ed, Joanne, Joe, Irene, and Sue, Art already spoke, and Bill behind the camera, if anybody else wants to say a few words. And Lee Isaacs is here. Would anybody else like to say a few words?